Hi there, Prep Plant Girl here. I was under my stairs today grabbing out some potatoes so I could make up some pierogies. And I noticed that I've left them under the stairs too long. Usually I keep them under the stairs until the weather cools down, and then I get them stored away in the garage where it's a little bit cooler, but still above freezing. And this year I just hadn't gotten to it yet. And I wanted to show you how they're looking. They're starting to sprout already, which is not a good sign. Almost all of them are doing this. And I want to show you what to do when this happens, because if you're not used to storing potatoes, then you might think that these potatoes are all bad and you need to throw them away now, but that's not the case. So first I just wanted to show you, because I have tried a few new varieties this year, and then I had some of my favorite old ones, and these are a mixture. These two buckets here are a mixture of red Pontiac and red Norland, which normally store very well for me in the cooler temperatures, but as you can see, they aren't liking the little bit warmer temperatures that they're getting under the stairs right now. And the same with my other favorite, the carob potatoes are also starting to sprout. They're not sprouting as much as the others, but they definitely are starting to get some sprouts on them. So they're also sprouting. But I found it interesting. These are the blue Russian potatoes, and they have some tiny sprouts starting on them, but overall, I would say they are storing the best out of these four varieties here. So I just thought that was interesting. I've used up all the rest of my other potatoes already. I just had small amounts of some of them, so I can't show you. I don't know how well they would have stored in those conditions, but now I want to show you what to do when you come across this type of thing. So I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer just so you can have a better look, move some of this stuff out of my way, and we'll deal with the sprouting potatoes. Okay, so like I said, all is not lost when you have a sprouting potato. It's doing this. This is early on in the season. I want to have my potatoes last me for quite a while yet, hopefully till I'm planting potatoes again, or already have some earlies up and ready to harvest. But when I have potatoes that are doing this, you just come along, just pop those sprouts off. And that's as simple as it is. And then I'm going to take my bag. I had some of my other potatoes in there, but this is one of those bags that I had made in an earlier video. And I'm going to fill it up with this mixture of red potatoes. So it's as simple as that. You just take your thumb or finger and just wipe off the sprouts. Quite often I find the sprouts are in these little dents. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get to them, but you can still do it. And even if it's just a small sprout like that, that's actually the ideal time to catch them sprouting. I keep a bucket of potatoes up in my kitchen, in my pantry, and just refill it as needed. And I guess it's been a while, so I hadn't gotten to these. But that's how simple it is. So I'm going to go through all these potatoes, and then I'll get them stored away properly. Okay, so now I've gotten all the sprouts off the potatoes, and you see a few potatoes in there. Some were just really little ones I missed to eat up early, and they've gotten really spongy and dried out, not worth cooking. And then a couple have some pretty big green areas on them, so I'll just get rid of those, because by the time I cut them out there won't really be potato left. You can see hopefully there I have a bucket of potatoes here that'll go up in my pantry to eat. You can see I tried to pull out a lot of the little ones there. Hopefully you see that. And then I have two bags of those potato storage bags that I sewed. So give those a try this year. And then I'm also trying storing them in this little sack here.
So this is actually a grow bag. It's burlap. It has a little bit of a, oh, I don't know if it's waxy, but it has some sort of a lining on the inside. But I had grown carrots in some of these this year, and they definitely do let moisture move through them. So they should let air move through them as well. And then I'm just going to be covering them up on top with a towel just to keep the light off so the potatoes don't go green. And then I have, these are the blue Russians, and they're in this plastic pot, which normally I wouldn't recommend, but there's not very many. I think you see a lot of air can move around them. And again, I'll just put like a tea towel over top of them to store them that way. What I've used for years is either burlap sacks or that milk crate there. And I'll just line the milk crate with newspaper and then put the potatoes inside. And they last pretty well like that, lots of airflow. But people have been asking me how to store potatoes, what I do. Like I said, the milk crates work really well. Burlap sacks work great too. I just don't like how much dirt gets in there, and even when you have fairly clean potatoes, I just feel like my hands are always dirty after I've dug potatoes out of there, and I don't like the feel of the burlap. So burlap works great, keeps the light out, lets air circulate, but I just don't care for it myself. But now I need to go find some hooks and get those bags hung up there. Find a shelf and another towel to cover this up. And then those will go, the sprouts will go out in the compost. And those potatoes in that bucket there will go up in my pantry. And again, I just cover it over with a towel so that there's no light coming in of the glass door in my pantry. So that's what I do. Just, you want to protect your potatoes from light and freezing and overly warm temperatures. It's the overly warm temperatures that got my potatoes right now. We've been hitting down to minus 25 Celsius outside these days, so our furnace has been running a lot, and I wasn't thinking about that, so it's gotten quite warm even in the basement. So yeah, it's time to move these out. My garage is insulated, and actually it's heated as well, but we don't keep it very warm. We keep it, maybe mid-teens Celsius or lower, just to keep things from freezing in there. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll get these hung up. Okay, so I got the potatoes all put away and stored. Now I just need to get these run out to the compost. But one more thing I wanted to add was, now that I know that the potatoes have started sprouting a little bit, I'll have to be a little bit more vigilant on checking them. I'll probably go through them, each of those containers, every month. Just take them down, open them up, have a dig through, and if there's any sprouting happening again, I'll just do the same thing. And that's just something that you need to do with long-term storage of potatoes. It just happens, but unless you wind up with some really big sprouts on smaller potatoes, it's usually not a big deal. You just knock them off, they'll be fine. With the really big sprout on a small potato, or on a larger potato too, but it affects the smaller potato more, it's just that it kind of gets inside the flesh of the potato a little bit more, and you might need to cut a chunk of that out when you're preparing the potatoes to cook. It doesn't hurt the potato, it won't hurt you. Personally, I just think it gives it just kind of a flavor you don't want. You have that sprout or eye in the flesh of the potato. It kind of ruins the flavor of the potato, and it can ruin a whole dish of potatoes with one chunk of sprout in there. So that's really all there is to it. Just, if you find your stored potatoes are sprouting, just knock the sprouts off. Check why they're sprouting. There's usually a reason. Either it's just gotten late in the season and they're just ready to start a new plant again, and they're just looking to do that, or it's because they're in usually too warm of conditions. Generally, if they're getting light on them, you'll notice green spots on them, even when they didn't have any to begin with. or if they're not getting enough air circulation, they'll actually start to rot and get soft and mushy. And quite often, if they're at that stage, you'll smell them before you see them. So that's all there is to it. Just have a look-see at your potatoes if you have some stored, see what they're doing, and keep an eye on them through the winter, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy potatoes that you grew in your own space long into the winter or right up to spring. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.